All right, that should do it. Let's get into it. So, kicking off the business meeting. First up, I'm going to go over some highlights from the Minnesota Ornithologists Union. I'll tell you a little bit. Yeah, thank you, folks. I'll tell you a little bit about what we do, what we've done this year, and why you should be excited about what we're going to do in the coming years. We will have a treasurer's report. I continue to maintain this is the funnest part of the business meeting. We have a membership report, and then we will hold an election for the officers. As soon as we get through the election, we'll have a few words, and then the awards are also a really fun part. So lots to look forward to here. Okay, so the MOU wouldn't be the MOU without our committee chairs. There are a lot of activities that go on behind the scenes at the MOU here, and it couldn't be possible without these dedicated folks. From awards with Liz Harper, conservation with Clinton, education with Sammy Nelson, our newsletter editor, Jerry Hoekstra, I saw him in the back there, field trips, Matt Hoberg, finance, Mark Leistig, he's in the front. Our records committee, Bob Dunlap. We have a merchandise ad hoc committee with Rob Davies. Nominations and governance, Michelle Terrell. Paper session, Kara Snow. Big thank you to Kara. Our quarterly and publications committee, Tony Herzl. The Savoy Grant Committee, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. Christina. Social Media Committee, Michelle Terrell, and our website and list service committee with Paul Buddy. So there are a number of board members that have left us in the past year. Dave Callender, he passed away in August, if you weren't aware. There was an in memoriam slide in the break there. Dave Callender has been on the board active since 2003. He worked really, really hard on that website. He definitely has big shoes to fill, and he will be missed. We're very thankful for his participation in the MOU. Jen, Kate, and Trey, they are still with us, and they did fantastic work on the board of the MOU. We are happy that they have gone on to things that they're enjoying now. We're also happy that we have recent board additions that have taken up their place. So Paul Buddy into website and list service, Sammy Nelson into education, Matt Hoberg into field trips. These folks worked really hard behind the scene. Thank you so much for the work you do. So a lot of people ask me, what is it exactly that the MOU does? Why should I care about the MOU? And one of the first things I always tell folks is I point to the Savoy Grants program. This is one of the most exciting ways that you can engage with your community by being a member of the MOU. The Savoy Grant program, and everybody who has a book now has automatically contributed to it. Everybody who is a member is automatically contributing to it because part of our budget surplus always goes to Savoy Grants. The Savoy Grant program picks out interesting research within our state, research that contributes to our understanding of Minnesota birds, or educational programs that advance either our understanding of birds, our excitement about birds, conservation of birds within the state. The Savoy Grant program has a really broad mission to fund great programs within the state. Let me show you a few examples here. My Bird Club, we've got inclusive and family outdoor birding adventures. Springbrook Nature Center completed a program that we funded to provide binoculars and field guides for kids. That's the nice photo in the bottom left there. National Loon Center, we've done a couple grant programs with them. Elementary school raptor centers, nature center programs. There are a lot of ways that the Savoy Grants contribute to the community, and we should all be excited for that. Grant applications are due on the 20th. Given the topic of this year's paper session, there's a lot of folks in here, I think, who are probably feeling the squeeze of reduced funding availability. in recent years. So while it has become harder and harder to gain free grant money, the MOU is at a point here where we are aggressively funding grant applications. Come talk to us, put in your grant applications, view what other grants have done with similar opportunities. There are over 70 grants listed on the website here, well over $100,000 in awards. There's a lot that we can do together. Put in your applications now, this is important. What else does the MOU do? We have been busy with our education and field trip committees. So this is Matt Hoberg and Sammy Nelson have led a lot of these programs here. One big call out, I think a lot of folks in the room are happy to hear this one. Minnesota's longest running birding festival, the Salt Lake Weekend, returned for its 47th year, bigger and better than ever. Sold out event, over 150 birders attended this one. It came back like a phoenix. We thought it was gone, and then it came roaring back to life. It'll be here next year. Look for those reservations. This year, one of the exciting programs that I've been engaged with is development of a wider variety of field trips. So Matt Hoberg has led part of this. He's been leading more naturalist-centered hikes, things connecting birders with everything that's not feathered. So birds and dragonflies behind the scene at the Bell Museum, that was a great one. We've got tours going on with the National Loon Center. We're doing events with Dark Sky in recent months. We've got Wargo and Springbrook Nature Center fairs, raptor release programs. We're busy throughout the year. If you want to participate in any of these tours, if you feel excited about sharing your experience or your love of birds with folks who are just starting out or folks who might not know your patch as well as you do, reach out, field trip committees. We can get you leading a hike just about anywhere in the state. Yeah, share your passion for birding. That's one of the funnest parts about it. The other big event hosted by Sammy, so the 8th annual Spring Primer. 222 registrants this year. Keeps going up every year. This is a fun event. Right as spring is taking off, folks give talks covering a whole range of activities of identification challenges, how to identify birds, what gear are you using, where are you birding. There's a ton of really fun birder-centric talks at this event. We've got the next one scheduled already for April 11th. Look forward, it's a free event. Also, on the left-hand side, one of my favorite photos from the past year here, our Ask Us About Birds booth at the State Fair. This is one of my funner challenges when I see the State Fair booth. Whoever's volunteering, I like to go up to them and give them your best impression of your backyard birds and see if they can identify it by ear. Really try and stump them. So the Ask Us About Birds booth does great. They've got some games for the kids. They've got pamphlets and flyers. They engage with a lot of folks asking questions like, what do I do if a woodpecker is knocking on the eave of my house? Or what do I do if a bald eagle nested in my yard? Am I allowed to touch the feathers? We get all sorts of crazy questions. And then finally, the other program I wanted to highlight, because we're really trying to reinvigorate this one, the Biology Bob Binocular Fund awards binoculars to young birders. If you know a young birder, let's get them nominated, education@moumn.org. This is a great program. Let's get binoculars into the hands of young birders. So for all of these events, we've had over 125 event volunteers join to make these events possible. I'm sure many of you are in this room. So thank you. The MOU continues to have a ton of fun in the field. It's not just about talking about the birds, it's about going out there and seeing them. So thank you for joining these events. Round of applause. If you feel like some of these events were a surprise to you, then let's stay connected. There's a lot of ways that you can understand what we're working on lately. We've got our newsletter and journal, the Loon and Minnesota Birding. So one is quarterly, the other is bi-monthly. We've got our Facebook page, our Instagram page. We even have YouTube @Minnesota Birds. We got the handle. We've got our website where you can find the latest field trips or connect to the list service. It's still running. And we've got our eBird portal where you can learn more about relevant topics interfacing between Minnesota birding and how we report that to eBird. For instance, I highlighted down at the bottom, if you want to understand more about why sensitive species like boreal owl are now hidden in Minnesota, we can help you understand that pathway and how we got here. You've seen this slide come up a few times over the break, the Daily Birding Planner. This is a fun one. It's about 16 bucks online, gives you data on migration dates throughout the year. It's a good reference to have on your desk as you're planning where to go over the weekend. This one's really fun. It also has a list of bird banding codes. So if you find some of your friends are adopting a little too much jargon, a little too many acronyms, you can decipher the code here. This is what you need. That's on lulu.com. Give a search for MOU. Okay, so that's a little bit about what we've been doing. Next up, I want to cede the stage to Anne for our treasurer's report. Hold your breath.
Okey doke. We've had a relatively uneventful year financially, which is good, I think. For the fiscal year extending from November 1st, 2024 to October 31st, 2025, our income was $42,000. Main source of our income is memberships. We also get money from a few other sources, planners, for instance, and also donations. Expenditures for the year totaled $35,000. We spend money on all the things that Justin was just talking about, our various kinds of activities, things like this paper session right here. It may surprise you to know that the registration fee for the paper session doesn't pay for all of it. So, you know, things like that, our publications. So you may notice that income was $42,000, outgo was $35,000. That means we ended the year with an approximately $7,000 surplus. I am so happy. Another thing you should be aware of, one of the metrics we use when we think about nonprofit organizations and how effective they are is what percentage of their money is spent on their programs as opposed to what percentage of their money is spent on administrative costs. You can go online and find various values for those metrics, but it's generally agreed that any organization that spends at least 75% of its expenditures on program is highly efficient. Very good. This past year, the MOU spent 89% of its money on program and only 11% on administrative. So I said that it was an uneventful year, but that was not entirely correct. We had something that doesn't happen to us very often. We had not only one, but we had two bequests during this past year. Two people who died during the past year, but had valued the MOU sufficiently that they included us in their estate plans. Lois May Swenson and Mary Hill Rojas left us a combined total of $28,000. Yes. We are sorry that we have lost them, and we are grateful for their generosity. A special thing anytime we get a bequest. One other number that I need to mention is that our Savoia Fund, which Justin has just been talking about, has now reached a total of $130,000. So there is money available. So please, if you have projects that are in need of a small grant, look us up. We can help you out. Now, if you would like, this is of course a summary of the Treasurer's report. If you would like more detail, if you would like an endless amount of detail, just look me up. I have pieces of paper in my possession that are full of numbers. It will be great. Now, on a related topic that doesn't involve numbers, as you're probably well aware at this point, we've been seeking a new treasurer. I have been treasurer this go-round since 2018. And I just feel like I would like a little change. I would like to step away from the job. I am not fleeing the job, you know. I'm not disappearing. I just want to step away from being treasurer. So we've been searching for someone, you know, a candidate to assume the job of treasurer. And we have had no luck. And so when you see the slide up here that shows the list of candidates for office that you're voting on today, there will be my name under treasurer. And that's fine. As I said, I'm not fleeing. But I just want to clarify some things. Perhaps you feel that, you know, maybe you've not done it before. How do you really be a treasurer of an organization like this? Keep in mind, I will not disappear from the face of the earth. I will be a text, a phone call, an email away to answer any questions a new treasurer may have, provide any support I can to help them settle into the position. If you've been thinking that you would like to get more involved in the MOU, this is an opportunity. If you've been thinking you'd like to be involved in the MOU in a different way than you already are, this is an opportunity. Not only to be treasurer, but as an officer of the organization, you would be in a position to help steer the direction that the MOU goes in. So give it a little thought. It's not as intimidating as it may sound. If you have any questions at all, please come and ask me. I'm sitting back there at the registration table. I promise, if the word treasurer passes your lips, I will not hog-tie you, throw you to the ground until you swear that you'll do it. Just innocent questions, no commitment. So that's all I've got. Again, any questions about the budget, treasurer's position, let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, Ann. Next up is our annual membership report. This was prepared by Cindy. She's coming up here. Ready?
Hello. Don't lean on that, okay. I did do a couple of changes on the form to make it a little easier to read this time. And one of the things I included is the new members for 1 year on the bottom. So to kind of point out that our membership has gone down a little bit. But if you look at like our life members, they're pretty much unchanged. Everything else is just a little bit down, so we want to encourage you, if you have a friend who is just getting started in birding, be sure to mention that we have this statewide organization with lots of information, places to go, hot spots, how to identify birds, and we would love to have new members. I would also like to take the opportunity to mention a couple things because they keep coming up all the time. If you want to pay more than one year in advance for your membership, go for it. That means I don't have to do it every year. For your particular account, I can do it for 2 or 3 years. And I would also like to point out that we need your current address and your current email address. If you are not getting the loon, and this happens all the time, people say, why didn't I get my loon? I said, well, you say you're living in Owatonna, but now you're emailing me from Brainerd. I need your current address and your current emails so that things flow smoothly. I would also like to tell you that thanks to the generosity of the Carpenter Nature Center, we do have a storage room up at Carpenter Nature Center where we have archived copies of the loon. And if you are missing one, please feel free to let me know, and next time I go up there, I'll dig around and try to find you one. And we also do replace them for museums and libraries and colleges that write to me and say, well, we've been a member for all these years and we're missing one issue now. I'm happy to replace them so that they have a complete set for reference. And what else? I think that's about it. Does anybody have any copies? Any questions? Okay.
Okay, so each year we hold an election for our 5 officers, president, vice president, recording secretary, membership secretary, and treasurer. The president and vice president are limited to 2 consecutive terms. So I'll be outgoing president here. So that means that the slate of officers, as put forth by our nominations committee today, is represented by Rob Davies as president. He is our current vice president, and it has volunteered to take on the role of president. New to the board is Ben Douglas. Ben, why don't you go ahead and stand up, although they could probably see you sitting down. Our current recording secretary has graciously volunteered to stay on in her role. Darcy, if you wouldn't mind giving a wave. Our membership secretary, who you just saw, Cindy, again, she has volunteered to stay on in the role. And our treasurer, Ann, you've heard her warning. Here is her name. Let's fix that. So until that happens, this is the slate of officers as put forth by the nominations committee. At this time, are there any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none, we will vote for these officers as a block. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Let's congratulate your officers for 2026. I would like to ask Rob to come up and inaugurate us for his presidential term.
Thank you, Justin. I have about 5 pages of notes I'd like to share with you. I do want to thank Justin and Michelle and the other board members for their work and leadership, and certainly to Clinton for his talents at emceeing. So thanks for that. This has been a great learning session today, although I have to say being in one place with my neck like this is unusual without binoculars around it. So I had to get used to that. And I'd like to ask if we could give a shout out to Bob Raritan, Leanne Landstrom, and the Minnesota River Valley Audubon chapter who collected donuts and coffee and cider and all of that. So if we could say, give them a big thank you. So before I get into really meaty things, let me answer one question that I'm sure that you have on your mind. Yes, your ears do hear a Southern accent. I like your accent too. I've lived in Minnesota and been birding here for nearly 40 years, 41 years, 40 years, I guess it is. But despite that, my regular accent refurbishing trips to visit relatives have been successful. It has been an interesting journey over the last 2 years as vice president, watching all the work that our incredibly talented and bright committee chairs and board members do their work. It's just been really great watching everybody so committed to birds and conservation and to this organization. I think that everything we do is just gold. Everything from publications to conservation to Savoia grants, all of that stuff, just gold. However, there are a couple of places I would like to suggest that I'm going to focus on for the next couple of years as I hopefully can lead the board. One will be to work with our IT folks, Bob, Paul Buddy, and others, to give moumn.org, that's our website, the facelift that they've been envisioning. I hope that, go ahead, do it, do it. I love it. So I'm going to, I'll be focusing on that. I'm going to try and help the board expand our internal and external communications capabilities, building on a terrific newsletter and other current channels that we have. One of the ways I'd like to do this is strengthen and build additional partnerships with other like-minded organizations. I think we have some areas that we can mine a little deeper to make our collective conservation and birding voices a little bit stronger. So I'd like to do that. I hope that I and the other officers today can meet the trust that you've put into us. I'd love to hear from you along those lines. If you have any suggestions, go to the website, and eventually you will find our email addresses. With your support, the next couple of years will be really exciting. We're going to break some new ground, and we'll move MOU to a better position even than it is today. So with that, let's hear about some awards from Liz Stanley.
All right, I'm advancing slides. There we go. Awesome. Thanks, Rob. So my name is Liz Harper. I am the chair for our MOU Awards Committee, and it's just been a lot of fun the last few years to do this, because one of my favorite things to do is to see people at their best. And so to be able to participate in something that awards people for being at their best has just been a highlight for me. So our committee gives out 4 awards annually, and you can find that information on our website if you dig deep enough. No, it's moumn.org, and it's under the other resources. You can read there about our awards. So our team also gives out certificates of appreciation annually for folks who host rare birds and allow birders to come and see them. So we're always looking for nominations for that as well. I just want to start this out, though, by thanking the folks who nominated people this year and in the past, because without the time you put into these nominations, we aren't able to give out these awards and to recognize the achievements of our fellow birders. So with that, I do encourage you to consider submitting nominations for next year's award or future years. And you can do that by either contacting me directly or sending an email to awards@moumn.org. Or you can contact any one of our committee members. Currently today, we're all at this front table. So if you have any questions or considerations for the future of these awards, please let us know. So anyway, on with the good stuff. Our first award today is going to be presented by Clinton, and it is for the Young Birder of the Year.
All right. The Young Birder of the Year award is given to a person under 25 years old who has contributed to our knowledge of Minnesota birds or to the MOU. Young birders have received the award for an assortment of achievements, including starting bird clubs, participating in Christmas bird counts and birdathons, and volunteering in places like Hawk Ridge. Our Young Birder of the Year award this year is presented to a birder who not only comes from a very birdy part of the state, but a relatively under-birdered part of the state. And the mom of this year's recipient recalls some of her early birding pursuits. Our young birder recipient began her birding obsession when she was just 8 years old. She started by putting up feeders in the wooded area behind their house and watched and looked in her bird book to properly identify each one. It was her very first year of birding, and she's expanded her knowledge of bird identification ever since. They spend a lot of time traveling close to home, with many trips going to the Saxon Bog looking for new birds each year, constantly looking to grow her list. As her list grew, our young birder's expertise grew. Over the years, aided by patience and an interest in photography, knowledge of the local birds grew. Sitting for hours and just simply observing who and what has made this year's young birder a keen observer of the natural world. She's always had an interest in photography, but photographing birds is what she loves the most. When she's out and about looking for birds, you'll most likely see her with her camera. Her favorite birds to photograph are warblers and owls. Knowing your local birds is something that is important, especially when you're a part of a state that has a lot going on. Our young birder hails from the Palo, Minnesota area, and as far as I know, I being Clinton, not her mom, as far as I know, is one of the only folks, if not the only person, routinely birding this interesting part of St. Louis County. With backyard birds like blackbeck woodpecker, boreal chickadee, and white-winged crossbill, great gray owls just down the road, and sharp-tailed grouse still hanging on miles from your house, why wouldn't you want to bird every day? While relatively new to eBird, our young birder is near the top 10 in St. Louis County every single year, which is impressive to say the least. However, I think the most important contribution this birder makes to eBird in a poorly documented part of the state is just by looking at her checklists of black-capped chickadee. If you go around Palo and you look at black-capped chickadee, I would say 85 to 90% of those checklists are hers. And that's important. If you find and see rare birds, cool, but it's really important to document common species in uncommon places. With 226 birds on our St. Louis County list already, there's a lot more to come from this birder. Not to be excluded, our young birder also participates in many Facebook birding groups, helping people identify birds, and has participated in Christmas bird counts last year and this year again. Not only that, our young birder enjoys birding so much that she has started her own YouTube channel, MM Arts and Photography, and posts videos of her birding adventures with her friend. A talented artist, our young birder has painted several pieces for the Friends of Saxon Bog Tiny Bird Art Auction and is planning on donating again this year. This year she took a leap and entered the Minnesota Waterfowl and a Federal Migratory Bird Stamp Contest and was very, very happy to get one of her 5 paintings into the contest, which was one of her goals. Recently, our nominee made the trek down the North Shore to see the long-staying black phoebe. It's not around anymore, I don't think, and was able to get it for her life list. Many more things to come from this birder. Our Young Birder of the Year for this year, 2025, is Maddie McConney.
Thank you, Clinton. And Maddie couldn't be with us today because from what I hear, her family is, I think it's okay to say, slaughtering a cow today. So they got farm business going on today. So next up, I would like to invite Jen to the stage. Thank you, Jen, to present the Volunteer of the Year Award.
Okay, fabulous. All right, so it is my great pleasure to present this year's David A. Callender Volunteer of the Year Award. This award is a way for the MOU to honor those individuals who have devoted many hours and much energy to the good of birds. As the director of a nature center, I have the unique opportunity to meet and work with many amazing volunteers. This year's recipient has volunteered so much that I fear that there is no way to adequately summarize all that they do and how many people they have inspired without writing pages and pages, and I promise I didn't. Liz even shortened this for me. So every person I asked to help support the nomination leapt at the opportunity to express appreciation for a person who has had an incredible impact on so many others. A mere 12 months ago, this person volunteered to help Carpenter Nature Center with a massive data project, which has already yielded fascinating insights into Minnesota's birds. Carpenter Nature Center has been banding and researching wild birds for more than 40 years, but historically the same site recapture data wasn't accepted by the bird banding lab until recently. So once the banding portal was updated in just 6 months, this person collected, verified, and submitted more than 9,000 same-site recapture records and analyzed the recapture rates for specific species that are only found in the St. Croix Valley during a certain portion of the year. They also acted as a mentor for 3 of Carpenter Nature Center's avian field interns, specifically helping Annika Hellerud analyze some of the same-site recapture data for a presentation at this year's annual Inland Bird Banding Association conference. In true form, though, they not only helped her get the paper submitted and the data crunched, but they also stepped in to present their research in her place when she had a last-minute conflict and couldn't attend the conference. This year's recipient rarely says no to an opportunity to protect habitat, mentor students, teach the public, and help bird conservation efforts. Their excitement and enthusiasm are contagious. This summer, Carpenter Nature Center was in the midst of the second year of our International Wood Thrush Research Project, and this person embraced the opportunity to learn more about this reclusive species. They hiked many miles at dawn and dusk to pinpoint territorial birds in Washington and Dakota counties in Minnesota and St. Croix and Pierce counties in Wisconsin. Once all 25 nanotags were deployed, they helped monitor the tagged birds with a handheld receiver until the birds left their territories, discovering many cool things that I'll tell you about later. So, let's see, flipping a little faster for you. This year's recipient has also volunteered hundreds of hours on habitat restoration on both of Carpenter's campuses, as well as hundreds of hours in the orchard and any other area where we ask for help. They're also an instrumental volunteer at the Raptor Center, helping shape and strengthen raptor rescue dispatch programs. Per Ann, the volunteer coordinator at the Raptor Center, not only have they been an incredibly committed volunteer, but they are always willing to jump in to cover shifts outside their own. In sharing their time, experience, and clear passion for bird health and education, they embody the best qualities of a truly all-in volunteer. Their eagerness to learn is matched, if not surpassed, by their enthusiasm for teaching and sharing bird knowledge with others. Also noting that this year's recipient has a perfect blend of patience, curiosity, and kindness that makes them a joy to work with. This year's recipient has also recently completed his Wisconsin Master Naturalist training and then became a certified Master Naturalist instructor, empowering others to become active stewards of Wisconsin's natural resources. Becky Sapper, the program supervisor, noted that in 15 months, just 15 months, this person has logged over 1,500 volunteer hours, a milestone that speaks volumes about their dedication and passion. Jumping ahead, Chris Trozen, acting project leader of the St. Croix Wetland Management District with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, was also eager to support this nomination, noting that their dedication and leadership have been instrumental across several programs, including as a Conservation Day volunteer, Grassland Bird Point Count Survey volunteer, Waterfowl Pair Survey volunteer, and Grassland Bird Point Count Training. This year's recipient also volunteers for the MOU, being active with the Education Committee at the MOU booth at the State Fair, assisting with the MOU booth at the Fall Raptor release, as well as assisting with many Christmas bird counts. They also volunteer at the Catherine B. Anderson Center at the Minnesota Science Museum. I am thrilled to present this year's award to Randy Newton. Come on up, Randy. All right, got to do the whole like fancy picture thing, right? Come on up, Randy. Thank you, Liz. Oh, how fitting. I hope you can recognize this